The SaberSim team has been working so hard all year to bring you guys awesome new features and improvements to the SaberSim app, and I wanted to record a quick video walking through the highlights of some of these improvements. I have a ton to get to here, so let's go ahead and just jump right in. You now have the ability to set min and max exposures for your team stacks, your game stacks, and your stack types before you even start building, giving you an unprecedented level of control of how you want your lineups to look before you even press build. We also overhauled the upload projections modal that pops up here, and it now auto detects what your column headers are if you have them, and gives you the ability to change the headers after you've uploaded this data, making it much more flexible and easy to use if you're uploading custom projections. In the build settings, we've re-backtested our default slider settings for all sports and contest types to give you the new perfect balance of upside and variance in your lineup pool. We've also overhauled the way correlation works in the app, and it uses now what we call upside correlation. Instead of looking at the average correlations between two players, we look at the correlations between players when one of them has an upside outcome, which is what you're actually trying to target when you're building good winning GPP lineups. The changes we've made to a build screen are some of my favorites. First of all, you can now edit a lineup directly in SaberSim to make player swaps and to curate the lineups exactly the way you want. Simply click the edit icon next to any lineup and you'll see this new pop-up which allows you to make a swap of any player to a different player if you like a lineup but just want to make a couple small changes. You can now also lock any lineup from your pool into your lineup set. If you're looking at your lineup pool and just say hypothetically that you really like lineup number 22. If you lock that lineup into your pool, we'll now put it into your lineup set and it will always be in your lineups even if you reduce the size of the lineup pool back down. On your exposures table, there's a lot of new powerful data here. First of all, on the far right, we now have a new pool column, which will show you how many lineups in your entire pool feature a particular player, team stack, game stack, or stack type, letting you know immediately about how many lineups you have to work with in that pool with that particular player. You can also now add any column that you see in the projections tab in the player data over there into this pool column. If it would help you to know, for example, what players' 95th percentiles were when you're editing your exposures here, you can now add that column and then, of course, drag and drop it anywhere into your exposures table. Once you have your exposures and custom projections in a build set the way you like, you now have the ability to send those back to the projections tab to use in a future build. We can just go ahead and click one button and send our custom exposures back to the home screen, which means in future builds, those builds will follow those custom settings. This can be super useful if you spent a lot of time getting one build dialed in and then you have to run a new build after some breaking news comes out. Once you're satisfied overall with a build, you also now have the ability to fill your lineups into your entries file just directly from that build. The old entries tab is still here for reference, but you don't really need to go there very often. You can just click fill entries within a given build, download your file from DraftKings just like you're used to, or FanDuel, upload that file, and fill the lineups that you've worked hard to curate directly into your particular contests in just a couple clicks. Managing your entries after lock has gotten a big overhaul as well in terms of quick swap and late swap. First of all, we've changed quick swap quite a bit and it now is up here in the main navigation and it'll automatically turn red if we detect that you have players in your entries file that have since been ruled out. If you click this, you can now quick swap in just a couple clicks. We've also added the ability to quick swap not only to the next best available player, but to the best available player from the same team, which can be useful if a wide receiver gets ruled out. You only have a couple seconds to make the change and you want to maintain the correlations of that player in your lineups. Late swap has gotten a big update as well, and you can now late swap from anywhere in the app just by starting a new build. If you click the new build button and then toggle late swap on, which will be toggled on automatically if the slate has already started, you can now run a late swap from anywhere in the app. We also have the ability to late swap only lineups that contain out players, which when toggled on will do exactly that. Finally, and maybe most excitingly here, the late swap will now listen to your custom min and max exposures that you've set on the projections tab. You no longer have to manage two different sets of exposures, one in the entries tab and one on the projections tab. Now, any min and max exposures that you have for players, for team stacks, for game stacks, stack types, anything like that on the projections tab, your late swap build will follow those when we real build your lineups. Ultimately, this should make your late swaps way more powerful and way more efficient when you're under a time crunch to take advantage of that updated information. We are so excited for this NFL season over here at SaberSim, and the only thing better than watching me walk through these new features is getting a chance to try them out for yourself. So head over to SaberSim.com and start your free 7-day trial today to take advantage of these new features. And if you've had a trial with us before, don't worry. We reset everyone's trial access today so everybody can come back and sign up with a new SaberSim account. In the meantime, enjoy this NFL season. Thanks and good luck.